So, Gaurav, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Doing very good, buddy. Doing very good. So, you are here. Okay, sorry, I just got confused a little. Well, welcome to Stanford.
Thank you. It's a nice campus.
Oh, yeah, you loved it? You took a tour?
Not quite, but I just saw it from outside and it looks really good.
Don't worry, we're going to take you for lunch in the campus cafeteria and we'll discuss more.
Wow, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, very good, very good. So, Gaurav, this is Abdullah. He heads the technical division, and I am the dean of faculty. And we are here to do the interview for the academic operations manager. Okay?
It's for the Director of Finance and Administration, actually. Am I in the wrong interview?
Stanford job title, academic operations manager 2.
Yeah, working title is Director of Finance and Administration.
Okay.
I'm glad I'm in the right interview hall, so it's sorted out.
Okay. Well, how do you like being here? The environment and the energy among the students?
Yeah, it's good. I've come from a campus myself recently, so I like the vibe around here. And California, I like the weather. So back in Iowa, it's freezing cold right now. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So you like warmer weather?
I like all sorts of weather, but it's good here, yeah.
Okay, good. So let's begin the interview process.
Sure.
Good. So can you tell me a little bit detail? Because I saw your profile, very impressive. First of all, I just want to say that. And can you briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. So I am a finance director.
Mm-hmm.
I have over 13 and a half years of professional working experience, particularly in international development, in banking, and in the education sector and in audits as well. So I've worked in a senior management role in an American organization for the last 9.5 years, and I've overseen a bunch of companies, and I've also been a mentor to teams in internationally. So as a person, I'm a leader and a change maker. So my supervisors would always attest to the fact that I'm a person who always looks beyond numbers and balance sheets. So I bring much more to the table than just my financial acumen and my technical skills. And besides financial management, auditing, budgeting, and managing multi-million-dollar projects, I also have good experience working in the latest technologies like ERP implementation and SAP with predictive analytics, and I've worked in a lot of other softwares as well. I really look forward to bringing my skills to this position, and I just also like to mention that I've been awarded as a Goodwill Ambassador by the Governor of Arkansas in the United States. Thank you.
Very good, very good. I like that. So, who was the governor who gave you that?
He was a Republican. I don't recall his name exactly. It was back in 2020.
Okay, no problem. Well, just want to know, have you worked with the education industry before?
I've established my own organization back in my home country. I was the founder chairman. I've been a teacher and trainer for 5 years, so I have a lot of experience dealing with students. I taught myself intermediate taxation and advanced accountancy, and I also established my own organization. It was educational, professional educational institution. So we ran classes for students from doing chartered accountancy, and we had quite a bit of success in that. Yes, so I definitely have experience in that.
So what happened to your business now?
I left the business a long time back because the business ultimately did not go as well as expected, and it was mainly due to the marketing skills that we lacked. We were very good in the technical side, but we realized that to run a business, your marketing skills need to be as good as your production skills. And that is a lesson that I've implemented later in all the careers that I've pursued.
Okay. What's your experience? Definitely, you would have experience doing annual budgets, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what can you take me through your last annual budget life cycle that you would have
Yeah, sure. So, in the last fiscal year, we had an annual budget of around $10 million of funding that went directly through our books, through our organization's books. And I've been a champion in prototyping and, replicating a concept called catalytic leverage management, in which the budget that comes from the local donors and from the local resource contributors is also accounted. So we did that back in 2015, and in the last fiscal year, the funding that goes through our books, that is audited, and that is contributed by local donors, it amounts to almost 80% of our budget. So if 10 million was our budget, around 25 million came from local sources. So we had a total portfolio of around $35 million. Yeah.
Okay. And what was your contribution in creating that?
Yeah, so our budget is mainly allocated by headquarters, but it is a very competitive environment because there are over 20 countries that are vying for the budget. So my contribution is to ensure that I work closely with the program teams to first develop a winning program, a winning proposal, and then ensure that the budget addresses needs of the donors, and it is allocable, it is economical, and it is efficient. And sometimes, teams tend to be very ambitious and plan, but they fail to actually utilize it, and some other country which could have used it better ends up having deficit resources. So we also need to be, very realistic about our budget, about how much we can spend, so that the variance is kept to a bare minimums. And I've ensured that in all my years at my past organization, I was a champion in budget management, and we had very good budget burn rates, and it was above 90% in 95% in all the 8 or 9 years that I worked with at HEF International.
Okay. So what do you think about the recent student loan, forgiveness program?
Yeah, I did read it. I did read about it, and I think the matter is still under discussion in the Senate. So there's two sides to every argument, and I think it would be useful. It would be helpful on the side of the student, of course, if some of the student loans were waived, but also it puts a burden on the taxpayer. So who ultimately pays for it is the taxpayer. So there are two sides of it. There's no yes or no answer whether it is good or bad. So we also have to take into consideration the fact that
True.
Yeah.
What is your opinion?
So my opinion is student loan forgiveness, it should be dealt with on a more analytical way. So the deserving students, their parameters should be set, like whether they perform very high or whether they are from an underprivileged background. So you could have student debt forgiveness for those, but if you have a blanket student with debt forgiveness, so I don't think it's a very prudent idea.
Good. I just wanted to know your opinion.
Thank you.
So, what about something? Okay, no problem.
I have one question. Like when you asked me about the budget that I work with, what is the size of the budget that we'll be working with annually here?
Yeah, here a huge budget of $50 million is our annual allocated budget, and then we have donors and previous students, alumni who keep funding different programs. And this particular program that you're coming is Center for Teaching and Learning, which basically works on a very different set of skill sets than a normal Stanford program. So yeah, around $50 million.
Yeah, that's very exciting. So it's also one of the parts of my career goal to work for a larger organization which handles a larger budget.
Good.
And I think it really meets with my career goals as well, managing a large budget like that.
Very good, very good. So, question. So you must have done a lot of, if not, I would say, process optimization, but also advising to senior management.
Yeah, I was a part of the senior management, yes.
Not just part, but advising the senior management
Yes.
on different things that can be done. So I would like to hear one example where you advised on something which directly impacted the profitability of the organization.
Okay, so I'll give you a very recent example, and it has really been a trailblazer sort of an example. So we worked with a lot of government donors, but the funding did not come through our books. So the government implemented the project in its own way, and we did our implementation in our own way. So I was charged, with the task of devising a legal modality where the funds from the government could come through our books, and then we could implement the project in our way. So there were a lot of legal obstacles. I had to contact my lawyers, I had to contact public auditors, I had to contact chartered accountants, and then public procurement experts, and we had a lot of brainstorming, and under my leadership, we developed some acts and regulations for the local government to pass. We discussed it with them. I led the discussions with around 50 different local governments, with the bureaucrats, with the chief administrative officers, and I proved to them how a joint funding modality would ultimately be beneficial for the citizens of the local government. And then ultimately the local government passed that act, and I'm proud to say that today over 50 local governments have passed enactments that my team developed, which I led, and that funding, over $10 million, has come through our books. It has not only opened the way for my organization for further funding, but it has been a milestone for all other development partners working in the country and internationally to partner with the local government. And USAID, which is the leader in the development sector worldwide, it is called it moving the goalpost. So I also would like to point out that this is one of the most significant achievements in my career, that I've been able to pave the way for something such so big.
Very good. Very good.
I would like to ask if there are opportunities for such advancements and opportunities for such innovations, if it is provided to employees in the current organization here.
I mean, this is a very open door for culture that we have at Sanford, but you joining at a senior level where you will have even more access, and definitely we all like to collaborate, but you will have your own single authorities to do some decisions if we select you.
Yeah, that's exactly the work culture where I flourish. Thank you.
Good. One last question that comes to my mind is, when you had to do something unethical to get the project completed or get the funding, have you had a situation where you had to compromise on the ethic to get the project completed?
So, like, as a member of the senior management, you are basically in charge of corporate governance, and with it comes fiduciary responsibilities. You are responsible to be ethical. So, even when people are not looking at you directly, and when you're not being, audited, or when people are not asking questions, you still have to demonstrate accountability and honesty. And I have worked in an organization where there's a policy of zero tolerance towards any kind of corruption or any time of unethical practices, and I was in fact responsible for compliance in my organization, and I've ensured that our organization was fully compliant, and we handled whistleblower complaints, and we had mechanisms like that. So we encourage staff through means of policy, through means of dialogue, through means of communication via software, that the highest ethical standards are to be maintained. So I'm strictly, by nature, I would like to always maintain integrity and accountability, and if there's anything in the workplace that, that if I'm pressured to go against what is ethical and what is moral and what is required by my professional and my personal code of conduct, then I will not be a part of such a workplace.
Good, very good. We're looking for someone similar. Well, salary and all, I think the HR will discuss with you, and I don't have any other questions. Do you have any questions?
Yes, so it was a wonderful having a conversation with you and learning about Stanford. I just have a couple of questions. So what would you think are the major expectations from this position in the first 6 months of joining?
Well, we're trying to see different ways to increase our funding and outreach. Right now, the cost proportion that we have, we want to make this particular business unit also a profitable one. So although we have funds, but we do have programs internationally that are being catered by that. So for 6 months, we'll be more into how different ways, innovation. I'm not saying that you have to increase it, but you have to come with some solution that we can see the practicality of increasing profitability.
Okay. I would also like to add that I've worked in the corporate banking sector before, and I've worked in profitable organizations as well, and I have fundraising experience with various donors, so I think I can definitely help in that purpose. Yeah. And last question, I went through your LinkedIn profiles, and I found that you've been working here for more than 10 years. So, of course, when people stay at the workplace, they're satisfied. Only satisfied employees stay at the workplace. So, what makes you excited about the company's future?
First thing, I'm here because it's Stanford. I mean, the name itself is enough people want to come here. And I don't want to leave this space to give it to another one. Maybe I'm me. Yeah, huge future, and I want to stick to it. Okay.
Thank you. That's all the questions that I have for now.
Well, good, Gaurav. It was very lovely talking to you. We should probably go for lunch and just do some chit chat.
Yeah. I would like to know if what's the next step in the hiring process? You have not mentioned it.
During lunch, we'll discuss.
Sure. I'm looking forward to a great lunch.
It is not over. We'll just continue lunch.
Okay, so I would like to thank the panelists as well for your time, and I absolutely enjoyed having this interview. And I like the vibrance that your team has, and I think I'll be a good fit to this position. And I'm really looking forward to work with Stanford. Thank you for your time, gentlemen. Thank you.
Good.